Okay, so I've been reviewing Muteking for about 3 episodes at a time because when I first started the show, I wasn't sure I was going to get into it. If I'm being real, while episode 1 was pretty hardcore, episode 2 and 3 let me down, but the show has evolved into one of the most intense American mystery animes I've ever seen, and I really started to love their harsh critiques of pop culture, American corporatization, and just the weird culture of San Francisco. Now, I noticed the last time when I was reviewing episodes 7, 8, and 9 that my recollection of episode 7 was a little bit fuzzy by the time episode 9 came out. And on top of that, that video ended up coming out close to a half an hour because so much shit has started to happen in these last couple episodes. So with that out of the way, let's talk about episode 10, which was so shocking. So intense that I just gotta give episode 10 its own review video because this time you've really done it, Muteking. So episode 10 starts off right after Muteki has barged in the CEO's office and confronts Evil DJ. Now everyone online thought they were going to have a fight, but I didn't, because do these guys fight? Did they even know how to fight? There hasn't been an actual fight that wasn't a dance fight in this entire show, so of course that's not going to happen. So upon confronting Evil DJ just tells Muteki that he doesn't want to work with him anymore. Oh my god, so fiendishly evil. Anyway, so the CEO comes out, and he's just being an absolute drama queen throughout this entire episode. He's watching these things play out, and he's also pissing Muteki off as much as he possibly can, and it's amazing television. So we flip over to Vivi and the kids, who, in a shocking ripoff of the Black History scene from Turn A Gundam, it turns out that Vivi's disco ball contains DVD replays of the entire original 1979 Muteking. And her kids are definitely Octians. Anyway, so after they get brain dumped by the original Muteking, which is now confirmed to be a prequel to this show, it's overwhelming for them, and also I'm assuming that from this knowledge they figured out that they are all Octians. Anyway, meanwhile, Vivi is literally swimming at full speed to Alcatraz in a goddamn fur coat with high heels on across the freezing San Francisco Bay. Anyway, she swims with incredible speed across the freezing San Francisco Bay, and the kids watch her through the disco ball and wonder if they should help her or not. Meanwhile, we go back to the CEO, Muteki, and DJ. And Muteki knows that the CEO has fucked up DJ somehow. Then he asks the CEO, who the hell is he? So here come some more shocking revelations. The CEO reveals that he's a space alien, an Octian who came to Earth to utilize the human race. In accordance with the human computation theory, he is trying to build a computer out of humans. Okay, so to do that, he built a California computer company that also started making cell phones and also started secretly infecting people with his disgusting, nasty alien octopus cells. But apparently Muteking was immune to them because he was just too clean. Anyway, continuing along with this joke that Octink is a parody of Apple, he apparently included this incredibly long iTunes service agreement that, yes, buying Octink iPhones gave the CEO the legal right to affect you with octopus cells that eventually kill you. Ironically, that's not even that unrealistic. We actually have disclaimers like that on the boxes of cigarettes. So the CEO was making people happy with these entrancing cell phones, and then created Aurora to send out special alien waves that activates the octopus cells, melting down the infected humans, which then kills them. Then the CEO's monsters show up to collect the melted human sludge, which is kind of like gasoline for their alien supercomputer, but also the Octians eat it, they also bathe in it. It's a whole disgusting thing because it's dead people.
Silent breed is people!
Again, to clarify what's going on in the show, they are melting people, killing them, eating them, bathing them, and also using them to power their alien supercomputer. And Muteki is just completely horrified that the Octians are melting down the entire human race to make pretty much gasoline for their computer to conquer the universe. The CEO points out that the only reason Muteki can become Muteking is because DJ is also an Octian, and therefore Muteking is also a product of the super technology of the Octians. Now, at this point, DJ shows Muteki his true form as an Octian, and once again they deny us a clear look at it, because I guess they're saving it for some final boss showdown. Although I wonder if it's as simple as he just looks like the tattoo, or if it's something way more complicated. Anyway, we don't get to see it, and Evil DJ and Muteki continue their slow breakup. But Muteki won't accept the breakup because he knows DJ is only breaking up with him because he's being controlled by evil. Meanwhile, in the prison of Alcatraz, the Alcatraz prisoners have escaped because Muteki's dad drilled a hole in the wall and somehow let everyone out using the hole. So all the imprisoned people walk through the wall and escape to the outside, where they get confronted with a very scary cliff and also sea lice, which scare the shit out of Naomi because she's afraid of small crawly things. Also, I noticed while watching this on my TV that you can totally see Vivi just blatantly crawling up the cliffs in the background. Anyway, so then we go back to the CEO's office, where more shocking and horrible revelations are continuing to happen. Ida walks into the CEO's office at this moment, and the CEO tells Muteki that she's not an Octian, but she's not a human either. Now, I knew exactly where this was going, but at the same time, I did not know how bad it was going to be. DJ drops that Ida is obviously an android, and she resets to say her prime directives like RoboCop, which is she's a girl working at a diner who wants to be an idol. But then the CEO shows Muteki her memories and says that it's special. He reveals that she has a fucking VCR in her back. And then we go back to the plastic love clip from episode 1, where a fun-looking couple in the 1980s are being all romantic on a cliff, and then something shows up. Something that kind of looks like an evil alien Muteking. And then also we see some Octian shooting stars raining down on the Earth. But the CEO says that this memory is distorted, so he restores the real version of the memory, which is even weirder. So in the real version of the memory, we see a man who seems to be an uncorrupted version of the CEO, back when he was younger and before he supposedly turned black and got rich from eating human sludge. So apparently he built Ida in the 80s, but it's even worse than that, since I guess Muteki likes those 30-year-old robot cougars. Ida wasn't just any robot. She's an AIDA-3, and by her design, she seems to be a fucking descendant of the disco robot from the original Muteking. Oh my fucking god. You upgraded the disco robot to the point where you wanted to bang it? Oh my god. The horror. The pure horror of this scene. This is such a dramatic reimagining of that character. It's one of the most dramatic reimaginings of any character that I've ever seen, and I have to just give that a slow clap. Well played, CEO. Also, I should at this point out to anyone wondering how I figured this out. It was obvious. It was obvious from the first episode. There were such clear clues. There was the fact that in episode 1, they showed Muteki that restaurants in Muteking are all run by other robot girls, and the fact that Ida's name in the credits is displayed in a robot font. The subtle, but at the same time so obvious battery pack she used to wear. Plus the fact that the CEO has been very clear from the start that Aurora was a machine, and then they revealed that Aurora and Ida were the same person. So yeah, Ida had to be a robot because Aurora was a robot, and it seems that by and large, most restaurants in the show are run by robots. Let's just face it, I'm a robot expert, and I can tell when a bitch is a robot. But hey, we're not done yet, because I can see another twist coming. Check this out. We see that the CEO was corrupted at the time that this happened during the 80s. So maybe Evil Muteking is the real final boss? I mean, Evil Alien Muteking is definitely got to be a thing that's going to happen in the show in the next 2 episodes, because it's on the poster. So the only mystery is Evil Muteking the CEO, or is it some evil force beyond the CEO? Anyway, so Muteki continues being so dense and doesn't fucking comprehend that he spent the past 3 months of his life trying to bang a fucking cream soda robot. So the CEO gets pissed and rips off half her face, exposing her gears, and then Muteki slowly starts to get it, but he is in hardcore denial. Then the CEO, Ida, and DJ run off together to destroy the world, which pisses Muteki off again, so he breaks his transformation tape. And I got a feel for this guy since His best friend just turned on him, and his girlfriend was a 30-year-old, highly evolved disco robot designed to make cream sodas. Anyway, so then we flip over to Muteki's grandma and Helicopter George, who used his helicopter to steal an antenna off a building. No clue where that's going, but I'm hella intrigued about that. Meanwhile, at the same time, all the prisoners and Muteking and the other diner bro are all together wrecking up the Octian Tower, trying to stop the force field. Then the CEO's plan moves to its final phase, where his office rips apart, erupting into weird alien architecture, and then CEO reveals that Ida is the core of the human-powered computer. Muteki tries to stop her, but she gives him a full metal robot punch and knocks him hella far. She jumps into this giant container of melted human sludge, and DJ starts playing the CEO's organ to start up another Aurora music phase. The CEO tells Muteki that Ida is Aurora, and he was too dumb to figure that out either. And god damn it, Muteki, your brain is so slow in this episode. Aurora tells Muteki that Ida doesn't need to exist, and she's going to live forever as Aurora now. And then she confronts Muteki, and he melts to death. As everything goes into pure apocalypse mode, she finishes off the entire city of San Francisco, and everyone dies. The streets are filled with melted human sludge, and the CEO just goes full supervillain, declaring that the human-powered computer is what he needs to conquer the entire universe. Meanwhile, the prisoners are thankfully okay, and they're chugging along to stop the CEO's tower. Also, Muteking has now switched to his homemade superhero costume, because apparently that motivates people. Meanwhile, Muteki is a dead piece of chocolate, and Vivi shows up for the final bout with the CEO. Vivi reveals that she's also an Octian, and okay, that tracks with what I was figuring out. Now, she and the CEO start battling, and the CEO starts shooting these weird sound waves at her, which apparently speed up the poison pulsing through her tattoo. Anyway, Vivi's kids are all watching this on the disco ball, and now they realize that she's going to die, and they start to get really pissed off. So they agree to help her, but they're not sure how to get out of the bomb shelter she left them in. I felt a little bit uncomfortable about the way Vivi dies in the scene because the animators made it look like she has a 5 o'clock shadow, but I kind of get where this is coming from, and it comes down to the clear and significant difference in how trans people are treated in Japan versus how they're treated in America. In America, if a transgender person doesn't pass, it can lead to a slippery slope of really awkward, hostile, and hurt feelings. But in Japan, it's kind of almost celebrated. It's like, hey, good for you. You have both female and male characteristics. So aren't you living an interesting life? To sum it up more simply, even though LGBT people in Japan have less legal rights than they do in the USA, at the same time, by and large, everyone respects them more and treats them better. And that's really nice, right? Anyway, the CEO at this point tries to finish off Muteki, but Vivi takes the hit for him, and she ends up getting a massive hole through her chest. She falls down, and then as she falls, she sees DJ helping the CEO, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? So she calls him out and reveals that he's actually not an Octian. He's a half-human, half-Octian hybrid. And then she comes back one more time with this holy aura and blows DJ up with some pure energy, which seems like it kills her, but I'm assuming it's going to bring DJ back to the good side too. Anyway, the CEO laughs it off because he thinks they both died, and the episode just cuts off there. My fucking god, what an episode! Not only was that literally 25 whole minutes of the CEO just cheesing on Muteki nonstop almost the entire time, Muteki was being incredibly dense, borderline dumb about everything that was happening in this episode. I mean, I guess maybe it was too much of a shock for him to comprehend, so he went into a state of denial, but we got all these massive revelations about how the Octian race works, the fact the first Muteking is canon, and this is a very straight sequel, and the fact that the CEO might not even be the real bad guy, or maybe he is because he was really bad in this episode. I mean, it depends if evil Muteking is the CEO or he's not. Although I guess it would kind of suck if it wasn't the CEO and they just pivoted to another villain out of nowhere suddenly. Because after this episode, I mean, fuck that CEO. What an asshole. I mean, I simultaneously am very impressed at his showmanship, but wow, that guy has got to be stopped. Either way, holy shit. I can't fucking believe that Idol was a sexy descendant of the fucking disco robot from the original Muteking. That is something that even I have to wrap my head around. I don't think anything in any anime ever is gonna top the brutal weirdness of that reveal. My fucking god. I can't with the show. I can't even begin to like just depack that. Wow. Okay. Well, that was by and large the most monumental episode of Muteking. So yeah, for that reason, it gets its own video. And I straight up could spend like all day talking about this episode because wow. Okay, well, I'm your Buster Green. I will maybe be back next week for episode 11. If not, I'll be back in 2 weeks for the last 2 episodes to just wrap up the series. Thank you guys for spending some time with me because holy shit, I was not prepared for this one. Please like and subscribe. I am 264 subscribers away from getting monetized, which would be really nice. Thank you. Good night.